Hi, it's Kay from Kay's Quilt Shop in Fort Myers, Florida. And since we have had to temporarily close our doors, we decided to do a virtual pillowcase lesson. And we are also doing a virtual pillowcase day for Golisano Children's Hospital. So if you would like to participate, this will help you. I am gearing this towards someone who knows absolutely nothing, so don't think I'm talking down to you. And unlike the magic of television, where they have all kinds of people helping and getting things done, this is not going to be quite as smooth, but we're going to have fun with it anyway. My pillowcases are not all the same, so it's not going to be like those magic cooking shows where they put something in the oven and tell you to bake it for 45 minutes and it comes out looking delicious and it's in the same pan. These pillowcases, everyone's going to be a little bit different, so we're just going to have fun doing this, and I will have a whole bunch of pillowcases then to donate to our pillowcase day. I do have all of these directions on my website, and they are under helpful hints, so you can log on there and check that out if I confuse you too much, which I'm going to try not to. And this is what we're going to end up with, is just a nice simple pillowcase. And it is we're going to be using the hot dog method, which some of you may be aware of. So it's kind of a fun thing. So we'll get this out of the way. And I have just a few pins here. And what this does is it keeps all of the raw edges contained in themselves. So we're going to start out with the cuff, which is going to be this part right here. And that is cut at 9 inches by the width of the fabric. So you see this is the selvage here, and that's the part that has the writing on it. So that's 9 inches. And then we have a piece that is 27 inches, again, with the selvage. So we're going to open this 27-inch piece, which is actually 3/4 of a yard, and we're going to pin it up so that the right sides are together. And I'm going to pin that all along here. And after I get that all pinned, we're going to take this other end and kind of roll it up and roll it up and roll it up so that it is like a hot dog. We're going to pin the bun over, which is this cuff, and we're going to pin that together. So it's going to be 3 layers thick. And we're going to pin all along. Now, like the magic of television, I happen to have one of those done. So you can see how it's a long hot dog and pinned all the way across, and it's 3 layers. The cuff, the case, and the other side of the cuff. And we're just going to sew right along the edge here. Be sure and pull your pins before you get your needle there, because if you break a needle or a pin, it can really damage your machine or can shoot into your eye, so just be very careful. So again, the magic of television, I have one done, and if you look real close, you can see that I stitched about 1/4 of an inch away, all the way along from edge to edge, and you can still see the selvages here. Now, this is the magic part. We are going to pull the inside out, and this is just the most fun, I think. So now we've got the cuff attached to the case, and if you flip this over, you'll see that there are no raw edges because that seam is sewn inside. So now we're going to step over to the ironing board. And we are just going to tuck this so that it's nice and flat, both sides. We're going to take our iron and just smooth that along. Now, I know this is fun watching me iron. It's kind of like watching paint dry, I think. But We just got to get this all the way across. And I guess I didn't start far enough down, so we'll just move this a little bit. And then we'll go straight out to make that nice and flat on the other side where the fabric is kind of folded. And you're just pressing it, you're not pulling or anything. So now you can see on this side it looks nice, and on the back side it looks nice. And there's no seam, no place for threads to unravel or anything like that. But you can see we still have the selvages on both sides, which we really don't want because you're not supposed to sew with those. So what I'm going to do is fold this in half, selvage to selvage, and we're going to clip or trim these right off. So you can see my selvages are lined up together, and we're just going to cut this off nice and smooth. Now if you have a rotary cutter, you're going to step over here to the cutting mat with me. If you have a rotary cutter, you can just double this over. These are all lined up nice and even. You're going to put a ruler so it's nice and square with that. Take your rotary cutter and just zip this off. If you don't have a rotary cutter and a plastic ruler, you can just cut along here nice and easy and as straight as you can. You are going to have a little bit of bulk here because you're going to have several layers thick, double actually, with where that seam is, but once you get through that you'll be fine. We're just going to continue to cut this, and then we'll be ready for the next step, which is then going to change my pillowcase to another color. I guess that is the magic of television, isn't it? So that's trash. We'll get rid of it. And you can see that this is all very nicely smooth and ready to go. There are two options here. The first one, if you don't have a lot of experience, you can put these right sides together. So that means the wrong side is on top and on the bottom, and just sew from corner to corner, from here all the way down to here. You are going to want to kind of match this up so that your stripe of these is matching from both sides, the cuff and the case, and just sew along, and then go back and do a zigzag stitch, and you're ready to go. You've got a pillowcase. But what we're going to do is we are going to do a French seam, which is going to give us another encased seam, so there will be no raw edges. So we are going to pin this wrong sides together, and then we're going to stitch just a small little seam all the way around, and through the magic of television, I will show you. See how my pillowcase changed colors? So I've got this pinned all the way around. I've got these intersections caught, and I'm just going to do a very small seam from one end all the way to the other. I do a little bit of a back stitch back here to keep it from coming apart. And again, through the magic of television, my pillowcase has again changed color, and I will show you just the small little seam that I have here, just enough to hold everything. But that it was the wrong sides together, right sides out. Once I did that, I flipped it back So now I have the wrong sides together, and I am going to do another seam right along here, just like I did before, just a little bit further in to catch all those loose threads. And if you'll give me just a minute here, the other thing you're going to want to do is just make sure that your corners are nicely picked out so that they're nice and straight. I should have thought about this, but I want a different foot on here, so we'll just quickly change that. So I am just lining this up with the edge of my foot here, and I am going to start sewing. Okay, and I go a little ways, I'm going to go back, because this can be kind of a use area, because people are opening the pillowcase up to put their pillows inside. And we're just going to go all the way around. And I just pinned a couple of places where it was a little bit thick and heavy, just to keep a nice seam there. So before I get too far along, I can show you that this is going to be the right side, and there's no raw edges. The inside has no raw edges. I'll just clip up my threads, and we will be good to go, and we will have a pillowcase ready to go. I do have a couple of suggestions that at the hospital, they are not allowed to give the children any pillowcases that have metallic on them. So you see some of those beautiful fabrics with the gold accents or silver accents. Please don't get those, because those cannot go to the children. And again, it's a 9-inch piece and a 27-inch piece of fabric, and you can make yourself a pillowcase. That also means that if you buy 2 yards of fabric, you can interchange them, and you'll have 2 pillowcases from 2 yards of fabric. So if you have any questions, you can always email us, but go to my website, and you can download those directions if you want. If you have any questions, you can call. We'll be here on Wednesday while we're doing the virtual pillowcase day, and we'll answer the phone, and hopefully we can get a truckload of these ready for those kids. Thank you so much, and keep on sewing.